everybody, Phil here for AndroidCentral.com, and we are out here in my living room in front of my piano because I want to give you a walk through Sonos. They sent us a couple of demo units to run here for a few weeks and have been really enjoying them. And the reason I care about this actually is because they now have an Android application. So we'll run through that in a second, but first we've got to kind of explain the system to you. These are called S5 units. They're small, not too heavy, and you can pretty much put them wherever you want. The really wondrous thing about Sonos is it will stream music from just about anywhere. This box is called the Zone Bridge. You plug this into your router and it will just shoot music out from here to here, which is really, really nice. The other thing you can do if you want is just plug in directly here. These have Cat 5 jacks in the back of them, and you can plug straight into a router or wherever if you don't need wireless music, so that's great. The speakers sound really, really nice, and they should, because these are not cheap. They run about $350, $400 each for each one of these. So you really are paying for convenience here, especially when you start doing wireless streaming, and this costs a little extra as well. But once you're set up, it's just dirt simple and really easy to use. And it sounds really good. So all that said, let's go take a look at the Android app. All right, so let's take a look at the actual Sonos controller now. You can actually buy a physical controller from Sonos, but the way we want to do it is actually use our phones, right? So here it is for Android. They also have one for iOS and the iPod and all that stuff. So let's look at Androids. Fires up here and we'll automatically hop into whatever I've been playing last. Let's just kind of walk you through how I've been using it. So each Sonos device you have out there, so I have those pair of S5s that you saw, they call them a zone, and you set them up as a zone and you can give them names. So I've got one in the bedroom and one in the living room. And you can actually set up groups. So say you have, I mean, this thing will handle, I think it's up to 32 different zones, so you could have 32 of these things laying around. My house is not quite that big. So you can group them into groups and have them both playing at the same time if you want, or one at a time, and we'll just do one at a time right now. So we'll turn on the living room, and that's the one we will actually deal with here. So start with your music library. So this is, you point the desktop software, the software you can load onto your computer and will load onto your computer, and then point it to a folder somewhere on your hard drive. I've got mine on network storage, and then it automatically sees all your music. That simple. It's, you know, pretty normal, just like you would expect it to be. And then you can fire something up. All right, so we've tapped the song and it says play now. Add to queue, replace queue, or information. We can get song info on the record. It pulls in album art, which is nice. So the queue is cool. You can set up, you know, it's a queue, right? You set up songs to play one after the other if you don't want to play one entire record. So playing the song here, and here's your basic setup. You've got a volume slider down here at the bottom, and you have controls here. Hit that and you see your queue. You can edit the queue, clear the queue, save the queue. Back, pause, forward, information, we already saw that. Again, your volume slider, and you can go straight to the zone menu from there. So you can actually turn it on in the other zones while you're listening to one, or you can listen to entirely different things in different zones. It's really, really nice. You can mute with the mute button. You do have things under your menu settings, so you can go to the music menu where we just were. Information, view queue. So again, all the same stuff, just under the menu button. While we're here, let's look at some of the settings. So you have a whole bunch of services, Pandora radio. We'll show you how to add some more here in a minute. Available services. So iHeartRadio, Last.fm, Napster, RDO, Rhapsody, Sirius, Booking, Fall. I mean, just a whole bunch of stuff you can add. So it's not just local music on your network, on your hard drives. It does internet radio just well. It will also do, see if we can get back to it. It will do terrestrial radio. So it's all still over the internet, but if you use something like TuneIn that will do your local radio stations, you can also do it here. It's going to take its time finding them. Give that a minute. You can also do line in, so you can plug things in directly into the S5s and do it that way. We'll give this one more shot and see if it wants to find it. Might not. No, being a little finicky today. That's all right. What else? Go back to our settings. Adding a component is very, very simple. So say you buy a new S5, put it in a new room, literally you just plug it in, go hit the mute button and the power up button, or if you have a zone bridge, there's a dedicated button on that, and it gives you 2 minutes to run to the other room and do it. And then it just shows up here on your phone, on the controller, and it just works. Really, really nice. Zone player settings, so you can change the settings within each zone. You can set up equalization on each one. You can give it a different name if you don't want to call it bedroom, and they already have some preloaded names, which is nice. You can change the indicator light. So there are little white indicator lights on the top of these things, and if you don't like the light, turn it off. Very, very nice touch. I like to see that. Now, say you have a couple of S5s like we had out in the other room there, and you want to use them as a stereo pair. You can do that. They just have to be next to each other, and suddenly you have $800 worth of speakers, you know. Really, really nice. You can hook these up to your stereo, right, as an entertainment center. So if you want to do it that way with a pair of them, you can. Very, very cool. The zone bridge, that was the little box you saw. So you can change the name of it and turn the light off as well. And that's what you use to wirelessly stream the music out to the S5s. Let's see, dock settings. We don't have a dock set up, but you can dock an iPhone and iPod. Online updates, it will check for updates, not just for the controller software, but for what controls the S5s as well, so and also your desktop software. Advanced settings, registration, diagnostics, all that stuff. You can reset the controller, usage data, so you can choose to send data to Sonos or not. So all in all, a really, really cool system from Sonos. Again, it's not the cheapest thing in the world, you know, and it shouldn't be, right? It is really, really nice, but it is not inexpensive. So know that as you're going into this. There are much cheaper ways to do this, but you know, for my money, and I've spent a lot of time and money on streaming music, this is probably the easiest that I've found. So if you don't mind saving up a little bit and spending some money, you really can't do much better than Sonos, I think, in my opinion. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you later.